It was 6:10 on a late autumn Friday evening. The lights in the office building of a North American chain commercial operation, Enterprise, flickered and went out one after another. Most employees grabbed their commuter bags and drove away from the premises, leaving only a few desk lamps lit on the open concept office floor. The long corridors were so quiet that only the faint whirring sound of the central air conditioning air supply system could be heard echoing back and forth. 45-year-old marketing director Sophia Reed sat inside her spacious, independent private director's office, her fingers repeatedly cross-checking the last batch of store revenue calculation data displayed on her laptop screen, while stacks upon stacks of printed layered planning drafts were spread all across her desktop. The company's annual Board of Directors strategic review meeting was only 3 short days away. This full-year cooperation proposal tailor-made for Greg's large-scale retail group was the enterprise's single most important profit-generating project for the entire calendar year. Once the partnership officially launched and went live, it would bring a steady $12 million in annual revenue to the company. Every core creative concept, data calculation model, client demand analysis framework, and confidential bottom-line pricing trade secret embedded within the document had been refined, polished, and perfected entirely by Sophia alone over the span of 3 full months. 2 years prior, when Haley submitted her resume to apply for the position of project assistant, her curriculum vitae contained no records of completed, fully launched commercial projects whatsoever. She had sat through multiple interview rounds and failed every single one of them. The Human Resources Department had originally intended to reject her application outright without a second thought. But Sophia happened to read the sincere, earnest appeal written in Haley's job application email, and her heart softened. She filed a special request with the HR department to recruit her on an exceptional waiver and brought Haley into the core project working group. She personally walked Haley through the complete logic of client communication, standard proposal writing frameworks, and systematic market data analysis methodologies step by step. She would also bring Haley to every important high-level coordination meeting to sit in as an observer. Sophia only assigned basic data entry tasks to Haley and split off a portion of small project bonus funds to give to her every single month. At no point did she ever withhold compensation or deliberately suppress Haley's growth opportunities. Every single member of the office team knew the full truth clearly. Ever since joining the project group, Haley's only responsibilities were copying and pasting pre-existing numerical figures and formatting basic spreadsheet tables. She had never once participated in core creative brainstorming sessions, offline physical store field research trips, or one-on-one in-depth negotiation conversations with major key clients. 3 months before the official kickoff of this flagship project, Sophia immediately set up an exclusive encrypted cloud working folder with multi-layered access permission locks. Every single revised draft version was automatically saved chronologically by exact date, ranging all the way from the very first rough preliminary draft to the 17th finalized official manuscript. Every individual revision was attached with detailed editing notes, precise work timestamps, and screenshot records of the corresponding business communication exchanges. Offline, Sophia drove thousands of miles across regional highways to visit 56 brick-and-mortar retail store locations one by one. She meticulously documented peak customer flow windows, average unit customer spending amounts, and the full range of promotional activity formats adopted by competing surrounding retail brands. The total round-trip highway mileage she accumulated reached well over 1,000 miles. She sacrificed nearly every single weekend of personal rest time to host online video conference calls with Greg, sorting out each and every pain point plaguing his chain store operations one by one, and designing a complete, integrated marketing system covering customer lead generation, user retention, and repeat purchase conversions specifically customized to fit his brand's operational characteristics. The total volume of business emails exchanged back and forth between Sophia and Greg exceeded 140 separate threads, and every single message was fully archived and permanently stored without deletion. At 55 minutes past 5 that Friday afternoon, Sophia suddenly received an urgent incoming phone call from Greg. 3 of his suburban branch stores had made last-minute temporary adjustments to their fourth-quarter activity schedules, requiring an immediate in-person offline meeting to revise all matching supplementary marketing detailed rules and plans. Time was extremely limited. She grabbed her genuine leather handbag that she carried daily, locked the complete hard copy original set of project proposals inside a password-protected metal filing cabinet, slipped the encrypted portable USB flash drive into the inner hidden pocket of the bag, and casually closed her office desk drawer, leaving the dedicated cabinet key inside the built-in storage compartment of the drawer. Before walking out of her office area, she deliberately passed by Haley's open workstation and spotted her still packing up her personal belongings. She issued a solemn, serious reminder to Haley one full time. The full set of core confidential planning documents locked inside my cabinet have not been disclosed to any external parties. The company-wide universal non-disclosure agreement we all signed clearly stipulates that unauthorized photographing, copying, or leaking of commercial project plans counts as a formal violation of corporate regulations, and the legal department can immediately launch full liability pursuit procedures. Do not under any circumstances touch any paper documents laid out on my desk or stored within the filing cabinet. Haley nodded repeatedly with an obedient, meek expression plastered across her face. But the instant Sophia stepped onto the elevator and departed the office floor, Haley shot a subtle eye signal toward Mandy, who sat at the workstation right next to hers. The two of them slowed down their packing movements in perfect tacit coordination and waited patiently until all building cleaning staff had finished sweeping every single floor and left the premises entirely, leaving the whole office level completely empty of any other personnel. Haley pulled a set of simple drawer lock-picking tools she had purchased online ahead of time out of her canvas shoulder bag and tiptoed quietly toward the entrance of Sophia's private office. The office door did not feature a complicated electronic security lock, only a standard interior doorknob, so she pushed the door open with effortless ease. Mandy paced back and forth at the corner of the main corridor to act as a lookout, constantly keeping a close eye on elevator movement sounds and footsteps traveling down the hallway. Haley quickly pried open the locked desk drawer, took out the exclusive key to the heavy metal filing cabinet, and unlocked its thick metal door. A full-bound set of printed project materials laid flat across the cabinet's internal shelf panels, including the core master marketing blueprint, tiered budget worksheets, store passenger flow calculation tables, Greg's internal confidential profit bottom line pricing standards, all 17 printed draft revision copies, and unreleased quarterly customer discount policies. Every single piece of information contained within these documents qualified as Level 1 top-secret corporate commercial intelligence. She took out her high-definition smartphone and photographed every page, sequentially from the front cover all the way to the final back page, capturing every chart, handwritten annotation, and tiny marginal side note with crystal clarity to save within her phone's photo album without skipping over a single sheet of paper at any point. Once the full shooting process finished, she neatly returned the entire stack of documents back into the filing cabinet exactly as they had been arranged prior, placed the key back into the desk drawer, and wiped away every trace of fingerprints from the drawer and cabinet surfaces using a wet disposable wipe she carried with her. After double-checking to confirm there were zero visible signs of the cabinet having been rummaged through, she and Mandy exited the office building one after another, pretending to be ordinary employees, leaving work for the day. At 10 o'clock that same night, Sophia finished sorting out all the temporary adjustment details discussed with Greg over their in-person meeting and drove back to the company office, intending to polish the final supplementary paragraph of the project proposal. She took a brief glance at the filing cabinet to check the arrangement order of the documents and noticed nothing out of place. The multiple consecutive days of high-intensity overtime work had left her mentally and physically exhausted to the point of burnout. She only gave the digital files stored on the USB drive a cursory check, then packed up her belongings and drove straight home, completely unaware of the secret photographing and document theft that had taken place earlier that afternoon. At 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, the company held an online synchronous management coordination meeting hosted by Vice President Roger, with all department heads connected remotely via video call. Midway through the discussion, Roger brought up the progress status of the retail group cooperation project to confirm who would be assigned the presentation slot in advance. Haley seized this once-in-a-lifetime golden opportunity to cut into the voice conversation unprompted. Her tone carried a deliberately manufactured mix of aggrieved grievance and eager enthusiasm, as she claimed that the entire full-year marketing proposal had been independently conceptualized and fully finalized solely by herself. She stated that Sophia had merely made minor grammatical corrections to the text content, and that all core customer acquisition creative concepts, client negotiation thought processes, and budget allocation logic originated exclusively from her own personal ideas. Every senior, long-tenured employee and department supervisor participating in the online meeting was completely stunned. Colleagues such as Linda, who had witnessed the full 3-month development cycle of the project, knew firsthand the full scope of hard work Sophia had poured into it. Yet everyone held their tongues out of deference to the senior leadership present in the call and did not contradict Haley on the spot. After listening to Haley's speech, Roger was thoroughly swayed by her narrative and openly expressed admiration for her so-called ambition on the live call. He publicly announced that Haley would be given priority to step onto the presentation stage as the main speaker at Wednesday's formal board strategic briefing session, and reassured her that the company was willing to provide more self-display growth opportunities for young new recruits and would not allow senior directors to suppress rising junior talent. That very same night following the online meeting's conclusion, Haley printed every single project photo stored on her phone that she had secretly captured. She deleted the watermark headers printed on each original draft that displayed Sophia's full name and document creation dates, replaced them with her own name on the front cover, and rebound all the pages into brand new hard copy manuscripts. At 8:30 Monday morning, she rushed over to Roger's independent office ahead of anyone else to hand over the altered printed proposal. At 9 o'clock sharp Monday morning, Sophia carried her encrypted USB drive and the unmodified original full hard copy manuscript into Roger's office to coordinate the formal presentation procedures. The moment she stepped through the doorway, she instantly spotted the printed duplicate version laid out across Roger's desk, whose content matched her original document 100% word for word, with the only alteration being the swapped author name printed on the cover. A cold, icy look instantly settled across Sophia's eyes, yet she maintained a steady, calm tone as she laid out the complete 3-month creation timeline and the full archive of preserved evidence she had accumulated for Roger to review. Roger had already formed a biased preconception favoring Haley's version of events. He furrowed his brows and attempted to reason with Sophia. "You've worked for this company for many years now. You need to broaden your perspective. It's a positive, valuable thing for young employees to step forward and take ownership of core large-scale projects when they have innovative ideas. Do not suppress your subordinate over a trivial matter of creative credit. I've already locked in Haley as the lead presenter delivering the full strategic plan to the board this Wednesday." The second he finished delivering those words, Haley walked into the office accompanied by Mandy. The two of them coordinated a synchronized performance of appearing wronged and victimized. Haley's eyes instantly welled up with red, watery tears, and she softened her voice to adopt a vulnerable tone, deliberately constructing a public image of a new recruit being pushed aside and marginalized by a senior director. Mandy stood beside her, echoing every word of her account, claiming she had personally witnessed Haley develop all the project concepts independently from scratch. The pair traded lines back and forth, continuously insinuating that Sophia leveraged her senior rank to bully junior team members. Roger was completely fooled and misled by their staged performance and issued an immediate temporary administrative arrangement on the spot. He ordered Sophia to withdraw entirely from all presentation and client coordination work tied to this multi-million-dollar flagship project, handing all relevant responsibilities over to Haley in full. He also issued a stern warning to Sophia that her quarterly management performance score would suffer a severe downgrade if she continued targeting her junior subordinate with confrontational behavior. Sophia chose not to erupt into a heated argument right then and there. She remained collected and calmly explained to Roger, unauthorized secret photographing and reproduction of Level 1 top-secret corporate commercial intelligence constitutes a severe breach of the trade's secret non-disclosure agreement signed by every employee upon hiring, and such conduct falls under the definition of unfair competition per the corporate regulatory statutes of this U.S. state. I will head straight to the Human Resources and Legal Affairs Office immediately to submit a formal request to retrieve the full 24-hour round-the-clock surveillance footage covering every inch of the office floor and preserve all collected materials as formal evidence for corporate records. Roger dismissed the entire incident as a trivial internal conflict over merit between a supervisor and subordinate, waved his hand to signal all three of them return to their respective workstations, and planned to mediate and resolve the dispute only after the Wednesday board meeting concluded. Sophia exited the vice president's office and walked directly to see Arthur, the joint director of Human Resources and Corporate Legal Counsel. After hearing the complete step-by-step account of everything that had transpired, Arthur immediately applied to gain full access permissions for the office floor surveillance system, and simultaneously outlined the comprehensive range of evidence Sophia was eligible to gather and submit as ironclad proof: 24-hour high-definition camera footage, 17 cloud-stored electronic drafts, each marked with exact creation timestamps, over 140 business email threads exchanged with Greg, 3 full months of employee overtime clock-in records, offline store field visit expense receipts, and daily task assignment screenshots saved within the internal teamwork. Group chat, unauthorized theft of completed project planning materials, granted the company the legal right to terminate the employment contract unilaterally without paying any severance compensation, alongside the authority to file formal claims for all resulting economic damages. Back inside her own director's office, Sophia spent 2 full hours systematically sorting through every piece of relevant material, encrypting all files and backing them up to her personal private cloud hard drive, with clear chronological labels categorized for easy reference. On the other side of the office floor during the lunch break, Haley and Mandy wandered from workstation to workstation in the staff lounge, spreading fabricated rumors nonstop. Sophia was consumed by jealousy of new team members' capabilities, intentionally stole original conceptual plans created by her subordinates, privately withheld all team-wide performance bonus funds, and deliberately refused to allocate high-value major client resources to junior recruits, harboring a narrow-minded attitude that could not tolerate younger staff outperforming her. Over the span of a single lunch break, the vast majority of entry-level grassroots employees across the entire company had heard this one-sided fabricated narrative, and many colleagues who lacked full context shot Sophia odd, cold, distant glances whenever they crossed paths. Linda, a senior team member who had worked under Sophia for 6 consecutive years, overheard every word of their gossip while passing through the staff lounge during lunch, and relayed the full conversation transcript to Sophia after the workday ended. Rather than march over to confront the pair instantly, Sophia filled out an official written application requesting retrieval of surveillance video recordings and submitted the paperwork to Arthur to follow formal corporate evidence-gathering protocols. At 3 o'clock that same afternoon, Arthur obtained the complete surveillance footage captured on Friday evening. The video feed paired with synchronized built-in audio fully documented every action: Haley picking the desk lock to access the cabinet key, opening the metal filing cabinet to photograph every page of the project documents page by page, and Mandy standing lookout in the corridor. Their quiet, whispered, mid-conversation dialogue was recorded with perfect clarity. Once we finish taking all the photos and swap the name on the cover, all the credit will belong to me. Roger will definitely approve my promotion after the board presentation wraps up. Arthur brought the complete video and audio evidence to Roger's office to play in full. The second Roger watched the entire recording, his face drained of all color and turned ashen white, finally realizing he had been deliberately deceived and manipulated by the 2 young women. Even so, Haley burst into tears on the spot, begging Roger to show leniency and soften his stance, claiming she only wished to demonstrate her self-worth with no malicious ulterior motives, while Mandy stood beside her continuously pleading on her behalf. Roger's resolve wavered, and he proposed a compromise mediation solution. Sophia and Haley would share the presentation stage together as co-speakers, and all project performance bonus funds would be split evenly 50-50 between the 2 women. Sophia rejected this compromise outright, laying out her reasoning in a clear, logical sequence. This multi-million-dollar flagship project was built from scratch entirely by my own independent labor. The pair of them stole classified corporate confidential materials and orchestrated a coordinated campaign of slander and false rumors spread company-wide against my character, simultaneously violating both internal corporate regulations and state commercial law. There exists no legitimate basis to split the fruits of my creative labor with them. This coming Wednesday at the board meeting, I will bring the full body of objective evidence to present before all directors collectively and abide by their unified formal ruling on the matter. At 9 o'clock Wednesday morning, every single person was seated and present within the company's large-scale boardroom. 7 external independent directors, 3 internal senior executives, Vice President Roger, and HR and Legal Director Arthur all attended the session. Major client Greg accepted Sophia's advance invitation to be present as an audience observer, and the formal presentation of the Retail Group Annual Cooperation Project officially commenced. Following Roger's prior scheduling arrangements, Haley walked onto the presentation podium, first holding the altered printed manuscript she had secretly photographed and renamed to launch her PowerPoint slide presentation. She managed to read directly from the printed text for the basic introductory segment, yet the moment any director raised questions concerning in-depth implementation calculation metrics or customized client demand specifications, she stumbled and stammered nonstop, completely incapable of articulating the core underlying logical frameworks behind the project design. The first director posed a question asking which 56 offline physical store locations supplied the baseline passenger flow data used to construct the tiered customer acquisition model, as well as the revised activity adjustment plans Greg had submitted following 3 rounds of iterative modifications. Haley evaded the core inquiry by shifting the subject to unrelated tangents and could not produce a single concrete detail derived from on-site field research trips. The second director pressed her for the calculation formula behind the quarterly floating reserve budget, alongside the minimum profit-sharing bottom limit negotiated with the retail group's leadership team, yet Haley still had no valid answers to offer and could only respond with vague, ambiguous circumlocutions throughout the exchange. When the presentation shifted to Sophia, she simultaneously projected the full suite of objective supporting evidence onto the main conference screen. 17 cloud-stored electronic drafts, each marked with precise creation timestamps, over 140 business email correspondence threads exchanged with Greg, raw video footage captured during offline store field inspections, the complete surveillance video taken Friday evening paired with synchronized audio recordings, and printed hard copies highlighting key clauses excerpted from the company-wide Universal Non-Disclosure Agreement. The instant the surveillance video began playing across the projection screen, a dead silence descended over the entire boardroom. Every director present clearly witnessed the full, unbroken sequence of secret document photography and coordinated plotting to seize sole presentation credit. Arthur distributed printed packets of relevant legal statutes to every attendee, interpreting each clause of the state's trade secret protection legislation and the disciplinary penalty provisions outlined within the corporate non-disclosure agreement line by line, explicitly establishing that unauthorized theft of unreleased profit-generating project plans constitutes an act of corporate intellectual property infringement, granting the company 2 distinct legal rights: termination of employment without severance compensation and formal civil pursuit of all financial losses incurred. Greg rose to his feet right there in the boardroom to deliver third-party witness testimony. Over the entire 3-month project development cycle, every in-depth strategic discussion and activity adjustment negotiation had taken place solely between himself and Sophia. He had never engaged in any business communication whatsoever with Haley, and all store operational pain points and customized marketing requirements had only been relayed to Sophia alone. Haley possessed zero comprehension of the core profit bottom line figures negotiated between the 2 parties during confidential talks. With multiple layers of ironclad evidence stacked one upon another, Haley's fabricated lie claiming independent full authorship of the project collapsed completely in front of all assembled leadership. Mandy sat down in the audience, seating with her head hung low the entire time, refusing to lift her gaze and make eye contact with anyone, and all the slanderous rumors circulated in the staff lounge were instantly proven entirely baseless and unfounded. The board recessed for a 30-minute, closed-door deliberation session. Once reconvened, the directors publicly read out preliminary disciplinary rulings. First, effective immediately, Haley would be suspended pending issuance of the final formal sanction resolution for the crimes of stealing Level 1 corporate commercial secrets and fabricating false narratives to claim credit for others' project deliverables. Second, Mandy would receive a permanent major disciplinary warning permanently filed within her personnel record for assisting in the secret photography of confidential documents and disseminating false defamatory rumors across a wide company audience. All annual performance bonus payouts would be fully voided and canceled for the current fiscal year. Third, Roger had committed severe managerial dereliction of duty by failing to verify factual accuracy and blindly trusting one-sided verbal accounts, resulting in forfeiture of all quarterly management performance bonuses. He would also be tasked with taking lead responsibility for overhauling and perfecting the company's full project creation archiving system moving forward. Once the board meeting adjourned, Haley blocked Sophia at the exit corridor of the boardroom, her eyes flooded with red tears as she accused Sophia of ruthless, unforgiving conduct. She claimed she had only sought a single opportunity to showcase her abilities, and there was no need to escalate the internal conflict all the way to the board of directors, permanently ruining all her future career prospects within the industry. Sophia maintained a calm, collected facial expression and responded with clear, organized logic. 2 years ago, I fought successfully to secure you a spot on the core project team when HR intended to reject your blank resume outright. I personally taught you every piece of business skill set step by step, split project bonus funds to share with you, and brought you to sit in on high-level leadership meetings as an observer. At no point did I ever deliberately restrict or block your room for professional growth. However, you secretly stole the company's core revenue-generating project planning materials and manufactured false lies spread across the entire firm to tarnish my professional reputation and personal integrity. You have simultaneously crossed the red lines of both internal corporate rules and state commercial statute. The suspension order is not a personal arbitrary decision I made alone. It is a compliant formal judgment rendered collectively by all board members after reviewing surveillance footage, email archives, and third-party client witness statements in aggregate. I possess no unilateral authority to reverse or cancel a resolution passed by the full board of directors. Roger's heart was consumed with overwhelming guilt. He sought Sophia out in private to deliver a sincere, heartfelt apology, admitting he had only fixated on the superficial enthusiasm displayed by junior staff without completing a full verification of the project's complete creation timeline in advance, which had allowed the widespread spread of untrue, slanderous rumors. He promised to host a mandatory company-wide online all-hands assembly later on to fully clarify every detail of the incident and repair Sophia's professional reputation in the eyes of all employees across every department. Even after receiving formal written notice of temporary suspension issued by the board, Haley refused to cease her retaliatory behavior. Late that same night, she logged into the company's anonymous internal employee forum and published a 1,000-word long-form article twisting and distorting every factual detail of the incident. She claimed Sophia leveraged her director-level authority to seize original conceptual plans created by junior subordinates, asserted senior leadership consistently favored long-tenured veteran staff over new recruits, and alleged the enterprise's internal promotion channels operated under an extremely unfair bias system, all in an effort to elicit sympathy from junior grassroots employees who lacked full context of the complete truth. Arthur utilized technical tracking tools to trace the unique IP address linked to the forum post, confirming the source originated from Haley's personal mobile phone. He took full screenshot captures of every defamatory paragraph as supplementary evidentiary material and simultaneously notified Sophia in formal written correspondence. If Haley continued engaging in malicious online defamation targeting a senior management executive in addition to her prior act of commercial secret theft, the company would be eligible to file a composite civil lawsuit demanding both mental distress compensation and financial economic damages. Sophia elected not to immediately initiate formal litigation proceedings. Instead, she relayed a final mediation ultimatum to Haley via the Human Resources Department: delete all anonymous rumor-spreading forum posts within 24 hours, and issue a written public apology posted within the company-wide cross-department workgroup chat. If these conditions were met, the company would exercise discretion to mitigate the severity of the final official disciplinary penalty. If Haley stubbornly refused to repent and comply, the company would submit 2 complete sets of evidence simultaneously, one documenting the theft of project materials, the other cataloging all online slander, and launch a severance termination process with zero severance pay, while permanently retaining full legal rights to pursue civil liability in court moving forward. Haley stubbornly clung to the false belief the company would never actually move forward with formal termination and completely ignored the mediation notice delivered via HR. Not only did she decline to delete any of her slanderous online content, she also sent private direct messages to numerous grassroots colleagues venting fabricated claims of unfair mistreatment, continuously circulating negative false narratives throughout the internal employee network. Once the 24-hour mediation deadline expired, Arthur compiled all overlapping corroborating evidence together and drafted a full formal disciplinary report to submit to the board for final review and ratification. 4 days following the board meeting, the mandatory company-wide live online all-staff assembly broadcast went live as scheduled per Roger's prior commitment. Roger publicly screened every segment of the surveillance footage, all cloud-stored original project drafts, and Greg's formal written third-party witness testimony, recreating the full chronological sequence of events involving secret document photography, credit theft, and coordinated rumor spreading point by point. He delivered an official public apology to Sophia in front of every employee, then proceeded to read the board's final permanent disciplinary announcement out loud for all to hear. 1. Haley, found guilty of illegally stealing Level 1 corporate commercial secret planning documents, as well as conducting malicious defamation both online and offline targeting her direct reporting supervisor. These 2 offenses constitute severe dual violations of both the formal employment contract and universal non-disclosure agreement. Her employment relationship is formally terminated effective immediately with zero severance compensation issued. The full record of this disciplinary violation will be uploaded to a nationwide cross-industry talent shared blacklist database accessible to every enterprise operating within the same professional field. Any recruiting HR department reviewing Haley's candidate resume will be able to look up the full details of this breach of conduct, and the company permanently reserves all legal rights to pursue financial compensation for all commercial losses sustained as a direct result of her actions. 2. Mandy, found guilty of assisting in the secret photography of confidential corporate documents and disseminating false defamatory commentary on a large company-wide scale. A permanent severe disciplinary warning will be affixed to her lifelong personnel file. She will be barred from participating in any revenue-generating core project teams for a 3-year probationary period. Every annual promotion evaluation cycle will include this negative disciplinary record as a key factor for consideration, and 100% of her full-year performance bonus funds will be permanently deducted with zero disbursement. 3. Roger, found guilty of grave managerial negligence and dereliction of duty. All quarterly management performance bonuses will be fully forfeited with no payout issued. He is required to complete full optimization and rectification of the company's enterprise-wide project archiving and confidential document storage management systems within a 30-day deadline, alongside drafting a written management self-reflection report to submit to the board of directors for formal review and approval. Every grassroots junior employee across the firm watched the complete body of objective evidence presented during the live broadcast and fully grasped the full extent to which Haley had twisted and inverted the truth to construct a false victim narrative. Colleagues who had previously harbored misunderstandings of Sophia after hearing circulating rumors came forward one after another to deliver private personal apologies. No further negative commentary targeting Sophia circulated within the staff lounge from that point onward. After completing all formal termination paperwork, Haley submitted job applications to more than a dozen local business consulting and marketing enterprises over 3 consecutive weeks. Every human resources representative at these firms accessed the cross-industry talent blacklist database, spotted her documented violation record involving commercial plan theft and malicious workplace defamation, and eliminated her candidacy at the first round of interviews outright. Small-scale local operating companies and retail chain locations all declined to extend formal interview invitations to her, completely cutting her off from all viable employment opportunities within the industry. Mandy found herself trapped in an extremely awkward, isolating position within her project team. Every single core revenue-generating project was closed off to her participation eligibility. All new recruits hired during the same intake cycle received sequential promotions, while only Mandy remained stagnant at her original job grade with zero upward mobility. During daily office hours, colleagues deliberately kept their distance from her, creating a stifling, oppressive team atmosphere filled with tension. The once inseparable close friendship she had shared with Haley shattered completely. Whenever the two chanced to cross paths offline, they immediately launched into mutual blame and recrimination. Haley accused Mandy of lacking vigilance while standing lookout during the document theft, while Mandy reproached Haley for excessive greed and coveting a project that never rightfully belonged to her. The pair cut off all contact with one another permanently afterward. Roger remained burdened with persistent feelings of guilt and took the initiative to approach Sophia with two comprehensive remedial compensation proposals. First, 100% of all performance bonus funds and special project incentive rewards generated by this multi-million-dollar retail cooperation project would be assigned exclusively to Sophia with no proportional division whatsoever. Second, full lead oversight of a brand new large-scale cross-border cooperation project with European retail chain brands would be placed entirely under Sophia's independent direction. She would be allocated sufficient full staffing quotas for her team alongside unlimited activity budget limits, and granted complete autonomous administrative management authority over all project-related operations. Sophia accepted the assignment to lead the new overseas project, yet made it explicitly clear she required no preferential special treatment or exceptions. Her sole request was that Roger and the HR department coordinate synchronous revisions to the enterprise's full set of internal rules and regulations, implementing preventative safeguards to eliminate the recurrence of identical workplace conflicts centered on stolen planning materials and contested creative credit in the future. Arthur simultaneously drafted supplementary addendums to the Universal Company-Wide Non-Disclosure Agreement, adding a mandatory clause requiring daily automatic cloud archiving of all creative development work. All physical, hard-copy confidential documents were mandated to be stored uniformly within password-locked metal safes, alongside a blanket prohibition banning the use of personal mobile phones to capture photographs of any internal project planning materials or financial accounting data. The retail group's annual full-scale cooperation project officially launched and went live. First quarter in-store operating revenue doubled the projected target figures. The board of directors issued an extra-large special merit bonus payout. Greg traveled to the company's global headquarters in person to sign a 5-year deep-binding exclusive strategic cooperation contract, explicitly clarifying that all future marketing campaign planning and coordination work would be handled solely by Sophia's dedicated internal project team. On the evening of the project celebration banquet, every member of the core working team was in attendance. No single individual brought up the farcical incident orchestrated by Haley, and everyone present wholeheartedly acknowledged Sophia's outstanding professional expertise and measured, reasonable approach to handling workplace disputes. During a lull between banquet courses, a long-tenured veteran colleague asked Sophia why she had refused a simple private out-of-court settlement at the time, and instead insisted on compiling the full archive of evidence to escalate the matter all the way to the board level. Sophia replied calmly and evenly, making unilateral concessions within the workplace will never earn you genuine respect from others. Blind, unqualified compromise only emboldens opportunistic individuals to continuously cross established moral and regulatory boundaries. I am fully willing to offer growth opportunities to new junior employees, yet I will never tolerate the despicable conduct of stealing others' labor achievements and spreading slanderous false narratives across the entire corporate network. Defending the creative work I spent months refining is equivalent to safeguarding the company's overall commercial security baseline as well. Everyone assumed this full workplace conflict had reached a complete, definitive resolution. Yet after being terminated from the company, Haley harbored zero reduction in resentment and bitterness toward Sophia, and immediately began plotting a new round of retaliatory tactics designed to create an endless stream of work-related troubles for her former supervisor. After weeks upon weeks of continuous failed job applications, Haley's rental fees and daily living expenditures spiked to an unmanageable level of financial pressure. She blamed every single hardship and misfortune in her life entirely on Sophia alone, and a malicious retaliatory plan took root within her mind. She dug up every screenshot captured from internal teamwork group chats and public event photographs taken during her prior employment, intentionally cropping fragmented segments out of their original contextual framework to assemble 3 separate formal false accusation packets. She sent all 3 fabricated complaint documents to the highest-level internal supervision department at corporate headquarters, inventing 3 major baseless serious violation allegations. First, Sophia leveraged her official authority coordinating key major clients to privately accept large cash kickback payments from Greg's retail group, intentionally harming the company's overall total operating revenue for personal private gain. Second, Sophia maintained administrative control over the marketing department's activity budget and repeatedly submitted inflated event supply invoices to embezzle corporate public funds for personal consumer spending. Third, Sophia had engaged in long-term systemic workplace bullying targeting junior entry-level staff, deliberately withholding their monthly performance bonus disbursements to obstruct and block their internal promotion advancement channels. Upon receiving the anonymous accusation email, Headquarters' Internal Supervision Department immediately issued a cross-department joint audit notification tasking finance, human resources, and legal affairs teams with conducting a comprehensive review of Sophia's full work financial records, corporate public account cooperation ledgers, and team bonus disbursement logs covering the preceding 6-month window. Simultaneously, all progress on the new European retail chain cross-border flagship project was temporarily suspended pending full completion of the audit's conclusive findings. Sophia remained perfectly composed upon receiving the audit notification and fully cooperated with Arthur to retrieve the complete archive of original financial supporting vouchers. All cooperation payment transfers originating from Greg's group were processed exclusively through the company's official corporate bank accounts with 0 instances of private individual fund transfers. Every expense tied to departmental event supply purchases retained formal standardized invoices alongside real-time online payment transaction streams, which could be exported from the financial system with a single mouse click to generate full reimbursement ledgers. All performance bonuses allocated to junior team members were automatically deposited into their personal bank accounts on a monthly recurring cycle, with complete bank payroll remittance records fully intact to confirm 0 instances of withholding or deduction had ever occurred. In parallel to the financial audit, Arthur coordinated with the Internet service provider to conduct a full IP traceback investigation on the accusation email's source address, pinpointing the exact origin as the dedicated home broadband connection registered under Haley's rental apartment lease. He fully captured and archived the email's raw backend transmission data as critical new supplementary evidence. After cross-verifying all financial and business objective documentation in aggregate, the Supervision Department confirmed all 3 accusation allegations lacked any factual foundation whatsoever, constituting intentional fabricated malicious false reporting. The Chief Internal Compliance Officer personally dialed Sophia's phone to deliver a sincere, formal verbal apology and simultaneously issued an official written clarification memorandum distributed to every regional branch office across the enterprise. The temporary suspension restriction placed on the overseas flagship project was lifted immediately, and all of Sophia's managerial administrative authority was fully reinstated in full. In response to Haley's fabricated false accusations that had disrupted the company's normal daily operational order, Headquarters authorized Arthur to send an official formal legal warning letter in writing. The document stipulated that if Haley published any additional false negative commentary targeting the company or Sophia via any online or offline mediums in the future, the enterprise would retain external independent litigation attorneys to file a civil lawsuit simultaneously seeking compensation for both economic financial losses and mental reputational harm. Within barely more than 10 days of receiving the legal warning letter, Haley temporarily restrained her retaliatory activities. Yet her job search efforts continued to yield 0 successful results, and her cost of living pressures only compounded over time. She quickly devised a new smear campaign tactic. She registered multiple anonymous fake social media accounts on nationwide local professional career forums and various job-seeking group chat communities, publishing lengthy accusatory long-form posts. She intentionally omitted the full factual context of her own secret photography and theft of project materials, only selecting partial out-of-context screenshot clips to construct a victim narrative framing herself as an oppressed new recruit subjected to unfair corporate treatment at the hands of a tyrannical senior director. She attached cropped screenshots to elicit sympathy from countless uninformed random netizens across platforms. Within a span of just 2 days, the posts accumulated over 15,000 total views. Many online readers lacking full background context follow the herd, leaving critical commentary denouncing large corporations for workplace exploitation and arrogant senior management figures. Multiple partner enterprises currently engaged in ongoing negotiation talks contacted the company's public relations department proactively to inquire about the internal staff conflict incident, inflicting severe harm to the brand's external public reputation image. Sophia elected not to engage in back-and-forth argumentative exchanges online. She instructed Arthur to fully collect and preserve complete evidentiary materials, including every post screenshot, account IP address logs, and forum backend data records. Simultaneously, Arthur brought the enterprise business license and official board disciplinary resolution documents to the forum platform's customer service department, submitting the full body of factual evidence to formally request all defamatory content be taken down and all fake posting accounts permanently banned. After auditing the complete archive of objective supporting evidence, the platform deleted all slanderous posts within 24 hours and permanently locked every one of Haley's forum accounts. All post-publication data was fully retained and archived for potential future judicial evidence collection use. Blocked from utilizing online channels to spread fabricated rumors, Haley shifted to offline retaliatory harassment tactics. Every single day following standard office hours, she loitered along the pedestrian sidewalk directly in front of the company's main entrance. The instant Sophia exited the office building, Haley would rush forward to grab hold of her and shout loud confrontational arguments, drawing crowds of passing pedestrians to stop and watch the spectacle, severely disrupting Sophia's normal commute home after work. Multiple building security staff attempted to intervene and de-escalate the situation with zero success. Arthur accompanied Sophia to the local precinct police station to file a complete formal incident report documenting the public disturbance conduct. The responding police officers issued a verbal public security warning to Haley on the spot, clearly explaining that continued loitering and harassment behavior would result in the issuance of official public security fine tickets, with the police incident receipt retained as supplementary evidentiary material. Multiple formal written warnings, permanent social media account bans, and repeated police dissuasion efforts all failed to curb Haley's retaliatory harassment behavior. Arthur compiled a fully closed-loop complete archive of all evidentiary materials, surveillance footage capturing the original act of project document theft, screenshots of all anonymous online rumor posts, raw back-end data tied to the fabricated accusation emails, police incident reports documenting her after-work loitering disturbances, alongside records of her cross-industry blacklist disciplinary violation. All materials were sorted, organized, and filed for formal retention. Arthur informed Sophia that she possessed full authority to formally retain external independent civil litigation attorneys to file suit against Haley on 2 separate counts: unfair competition and personal reputational infringement, demanding corresponding financial compensation alongside a court-ordered mandatory public apology. Sophia deliberated on the matter through the entirety of one night and ultimately decided to offer Haley one final opportunity to mitigate losses without formal court proceedings. Her retained law firm drafted an official formal demand letter establishing a 7-day deadline. The terms required Haley to publish a 1,000-word written public apology pinned to the top featured position of 3 major local professional career platforms, while deleting all defamatory online content she had previously posted. If the 7-day deadline expired without full compliance, the law firm would immediately submit all case materials to the county court to initiate formal trial proceedings. The 7-day mediation deadline elapsed with zero apology statement published by Haley. She continued utilizing minor niche social media platform anonymous accounts to publish veiled text content carrying malicious suggestive innuendo intended to tarnish Sophia's character. Sophia formally retained a licensed practicing civil attorney and submitted the full complete packet of case filing materials to the local state district court. After reviewing all submitted evidentiary documentation, the court scheduled a formal hearing date with expedited processing. On the day of the court hearing, Haley appeared in court without retaining any defense legal counsel to represent her. She persisted in repeating all her prior fabricated false statements throughout the trial session, claiming the full marketing plan creative concept belonged exclusively to herself, that Sophia had stolen her labor output, withheld performance bonuses and accepted client kickbacks, and that the company's disciplinary sanctions were entirely unfair and unjust. She argued her online forum posts and formal accusation emails merely constituted truthful personal recounts of her lived experiences and did not amount to any act of defamation or legal infringement. The plaintiff's attorney presented each category of physical evidence, audiovisual recordings and written documentation, one by one for the judge's item-by-item review and verification. 1. 24-hour full office continuous surveillance footage paired with synchronized audio recording, fully documenting Haley's act of picking office desk locks to enter Sophia's private director office, secretly photographing the complete set of confidential commercial project materials, alongside her coordinated conspiracy with Mandy to swap document authorship and seize presentation credit at the board briefing. This footage provided irrefutable concrete proof of Haley's theft of Level 1 corporate commercial secrets. 2. 17 timestamped cloud-based electronic draft versions, over 140 business email correspondence threads exchanged between Sophia and Greg, and travel expense receipts documenting visits to 56 offline retail store locations, collectively serving full proof that every segment of project creation and client coordination work was completed independently by Sophia, while Haley only performed basic spreadsheet data entry tasks with zero access to the core confidential client negotiation pricing metrics and financial calculation logic. 3. Officially stamped and sealed board disciplinary resolution documents alongside original hard copy excerpts from the enterprise non-disclosure agreement, confirming the company's employment termination action fully complied with the state's labor statutes and internal corporate administrative regulations. 4. Internet service provider IP traceback verification records, raw back-end source data from the fabricated accusation emails, full screenshot archives of every defamatory forum post, alongside official platform account ban confirmation receipts, collectively proving the defendant had deliberately manufactured 3 major false criminal allegations and disseminated them widely to damage both Sophia's personal reputation and the enterprise's public brand image. 5. Police precinct public disturbance incident filing records plus multiple segments of building security camera footage capturing on-site confrontations, corroborating the defendant's repeated acts of loitering after work and public shouting matches that continuously interfered with the plaintiff's normal professional duties and daily personal life. 6. Formal written witness statements submitted by human resources managers at multiple local marketing enterprises, confirming that after reviewing the cross-industry talent blacklist and discovering Haley's documented violation record, all firms rejected her interview applications outright. Her sustained online and offline smear campaigns had inflicted further severe harm to Sophia's professional standing within the industry. Once the full body of evidentiary materials had been presented to the court, the judge directly addressed Haley to inquire whether she could produce any objective written or audiovisual supporting evidence to back up the 3 core allegations she had levied against Sophia. Haley could only repeat circular verbal excuses with zero valid tangible supporting documentation to offer, and numerous logical contradictions appeared scattered throughout her successive accounts of events. Upon witnessing that all her fabricated lies could no longer be logically sustained, Haley altered her courtroom stance mid-trial, claiming she had only acted out of momentary emotional frustration with no premeditated intent to damage Sophia's reputation, and begged the court to approve an out-of-court private settlement while dismissing the civil lawsuit entirely. The judge clearly informed both parties that the plaintiff's evidentiary chain formed a complete, unbroken, closed loop of proof. The defendant had committed multiple overlapping violations including commercial secret theft, persistent online and offline defamation, and public nuisance disturbances. The court would not approve a simplified private out-of-court settlement and proceeded to read the first instance formal judgment verdict aloud on the spot. 1. Defendant Haley is ordered to publish a 1,000-word public apology statement pinned to the top featured position of 3 major local professional career forums for a continuous 30-day duration. The statement must fully recount the complete objective sequence of factual events and retract all false allegations for the purpose of restoring both Sophia's personal reputation and the enterprise's public brand image. 2. The defendant shall pay a one-time lump sum compensation payment totaling $13,500, covering the plaintiff's attorney fees, evidence collection administrative costs, and monetary damages for reputational harm, to be remitted in full within 10 calendar days of the judgment's issuance date. 3. A permanent injunction is issued prohibiting the defendant from publishing any false negative commentary targeting plaintiff Sophia or the plaintiff's enterprise via any online or offline communication channels whatsoever. Any future breach of this injunction will entitle the plaintiff to immediately file a motion for court enforcement alongside claims of additional supplementary financial compensation. The instant Haley received the printed first instance judgment document, she collapsed into tears inside the courtroom. Yet the court ruling carried binding statutory legal force and could not be altered or revoked under any circumstances. Within the 10-day payment deadline, she raised the full total compensation amount and remitted the funds to the court's designated account, then published the mandatory pinned apology post per the judge's requirements. The full text of the post contained unreserved admissions of every wrongful act, secret photography, and theft of project planning materials, fabrication of formal accusation complaints, online rumor spreading, and offline harassment conduct. After the apology post went live, all netizens who had previously voiced sympathetic support for Haley completely reversed their viewpoints after reading the full unvarnished truth. No marketing enterprise operating within the local region would extend interview opportunities to her moving forward. Haley was fully locked out of all formal white-collar office career paths, forced to rely on low-wage temporary casual labor positions to scrape together a minimal income for basic survival. Mandy observed the entirety of the courtroom trial and subsequent judgment proceedings firsthand. She felt immense relief that she had refused to follow Haley's lead in launching retaliatory smear campaigns online and offline. Though a major disciplinary warning remained permanently affixed to her personnel file, she continued to fulfill her daily core job duties with steady reliability and did not commit any additional violations to worsen her sanction. She never again involved herself in office gossip or opportunistic schemes designed to seize creative credit belonging to other colleagues. All civil litigation cases and workplace conflict incidents were fully and finally resolved with no outstanding loose ends. Freed from expending energy on trivial disruptive distractions, Sophia devoted her full undivided attention to the flagship large-scale cross-border cooperation project with European retail chain brands. Drawing upon 8 full years of key major client relationship management experience, alongside a mature end-to-end marketing implementation system she had built from scratch, Sophia led her newly assembled dedicated team to complete all cross-border coordination work within a 6-month timeline. The total operating revenue generated by the overseas business line in the first year tripled the initial forecasted target figures, cementing this initiative as the company's flagship highest profit project of the entire fiscal year. The board of directors simultaneously implemented a substantial upward adjustment to Sophia's base salary rate and annual department profit-sharing percentage ratio. She was granted formal official authority, serving as overall marketing director overseeing both domestic regional markets and all overseas business lines. A standalone large dedicated conference room exclusively for client negotiation meetings was newly constructed and expanded for her team's sole use, with a full complement of allocated team staffing quotas and unlimited activity budget ceilings provided as support. Greg's Retail Group took the initiative to renew a 5-year in-depth binding strategic cooperation contract. In tandem, he introduced marketing directors from multiple cross-regional chain brand enterprises to establish business connections with Sophia, creating a continuous steady pipeline of high-value long-term key client resources. The total annual performance output of Sophia's marketing department ranked first among every department within the company for 2 consecutive full calendar years. Within her internal team, any employee who maintained a diligent work ethic and possessed independent project planning capabilities would receive Sophia's proactive internal recommendation for promotion opportunities. No further negative rumors circulated claiming junior recruits faced suppression from senior management. Having absorbed profound managerial lessons from the entire incident, Roger instituted new protocols prior to the launch of every subsequent new project. He immediately retrieves all cloud-based creative archiving records to verify the genuine lead creator of each initiative, rather than drawing hasty conclusions based solely on verbal one-sided accounts provided by individual staff members. Whenever disputes arise within teams involving creative credit or resource allocation, all parties participate in mediation only after reviewing objective archived evidence, including surveillance footage, email threads, and saved project drafts. The overall corporate workplace atmosphere transformed into a fair, transparent environment, entirely free of opportunistic employees seeking to steal other people's work products for personal advancement. The enterprise rolled out a comprehensive full-cycle project protection framework simultaneously across all departments. All planning documents and data calculation worksheets are mandated to be automatically saved to cloud storage on a daily recurring cycle with immutable system-generated creation timestamps attached to every file. All physical, hard-copy confidential commercial materials are uniformly stored inside password-locked metal safety cabinets. A blanket company-wide regulation prohibits the use of any personal electronic devices to capture photographic images of internal project planning content or financial accounting data. The Human Resources Department hosts weekly offline training sessions covering labor law provisions, trade secret protection regulations, and workplace compliance standards, designed to eliminate future incidents of stolen planning materials and malicious defamation at the root causal level. Mandy maintained a low-key, discreet interpersonal demeanor while fulfilling basic auxiliary job responsibilities with consistent reliability. 2 years later, based on her sustained stable work performance track record, she submitted an application requesting the removal of the major disciplinary warning from her personnel file and successfully obtained a minor incremental promotion. On the rare occasions their paths crossed within the office premises, Mandy would actively step aside to avoid encountering Sophia, consumed by persistent feelings of guilt and remorse. Haley switched to performing various low-paying, temporary casual labor jobs with inconsistent, unstable monthly income. The private director's office space, generous quarterly bonus payouts, and high-level client coordination access she had once coveted more than anything were permanently out of her reach from that point onward. If they chanced to cross paths within downtown commercial shopping districts, Haley would deliberately keep a wide distance to avoid Sophia's line of sight, too ashamed to step forward and attempt conversation. Driven by momentary surges of jealous resentment, she had chosen to pursue unethical shortcuts by stealing other people's hard-won creative labor products, ultimately resulting in a permanent cross-industry blacklist entry and binding civil court judgment that completely destroyed her white-collar office career prospects. She spent every single day struggling to cover minimal basic living expenses and lay awake countless late nights consumed with regret over her impulsive decisions. Yet all formal disciplinary and judicial records could never be erased or expunged, leaving zero potential avenues for future professional recovery. Numerous young, newly hired junior employees who had witnessed the complete chronological sequence of the entire incident sought Sophia out privately to request guidance on long-term professional career planning. Every time, Sophia offered sincere, straightforward counsel. Shortcut workarounds within the workplace may appear effortless on the surface, yet they leave permanent, indelible stains on your professional record that follow you indefinitely. Steady, sequential internal promotion can only be achieved through genuine, tangible personal professional expertise and skill mastery. Learn to utilize employment contracts, office surveillance footage, cloud document archives, and legal recourse tools to safeguard your own creative labor output. Do not practice endless, unqualified compromise to accommodate greedy, opportunistic individuals who seek to exploit your hard work. 3 years passed by in the blink of an eye. Sophia single-handedly constructed a complete dual-track marketing business system covering both domestic regional markets and all overseas international business lines. The company's board of directors formally approved the establishment of an independent specialized marketing subsidiary firm, with Sophia appointed to serve concurrently as the subsidiary's general manager. She held full independent authority over all project budget allocations alongside complete personnel administrative jurisdiction for every team under her management portfolio, and her professional career maintained a consistent upward growth trajectory without interruption. During her spare free time, she hosted free public industry knowledge sharing seminars open to all new workplace entrants, teaching practical actionable methodologies regarding commercial confidentiality rules, labor rights protection avenues, and techniques for safeguarding original creative planning output. Her sessions helped countless young industry newcomers steer clear of workplace betrayal traps and credit-stealing schemes perpetrated by unethical colleagues. The full sequence of incidents involving secret document photography, coordinated rumor-mongering, fabricated formal accusations, and subsequent courtroom litigation had long faded into distant past history, with zero residual negative impact lingering on Sophia's professional work or personal daily life. She continued to maintain a generous, tolerant attitude toward hardworking, self-motivated junior subordinates, remaining willing to pass down accumulated business experience step by step and provide new recruits with platforms to showcase their capabilities. However, when confronted with opportunistic employees who stole other colleagues' work products or engaged in malicious, slanderous commentary, she would immediately gather the full, complete archive of objective evidence and resolve the matter via dual formal channels: internal corporate administrative procedures and external legal recourse, refusing to extend any leniency or compromise to wrongdoers. From time to time, colleagues would approach Sophia to pose the question of whether she believed all the time and energy she had invested into evidence collection and courtroom litigation had ultimately proven a worthless waste of resources. Sophia provided a clear, uncomplicated answer. Unconditional, unrestrained concessions only embolden opportunistic bad actors to continuously push past established boundaries. Taking the initiative to defend the labor achievements, I spent months painstakingly refining safeguards, not only my personal professional reputation, but also a fair and impartial workplace environment for every single employee across the entire enterprise. Every individual who devotes themselves fully to diligent work ought to be spared the unfair treatment of workplace betrayal, stolen creative credit, and groundless fabricated slander. By contrast, over those 3 intervening years, Haley hopped between various low-tier temporary labor roles with no pathway back into formal white-collar office employment whatsoever. Mandy led an ordinary, stable office existence and received minor incremental promotions at a gradual pace. She had fully realized that opportunistic shortcuts yielded no sustainable positive outcomes and elected to adopt a steady, down-to-earth approach to her daily job responsibilities. No permanent, all-purpose shortcuts exist within the professional workplace. Every short-term advantage gained through theft, rumor spreading, and backstabbing betrayal will eventually carry severe long-term consequences that must be borne by the perpetrator. What can sustain an individual's professional development over the long run has never been petty manipulative trickery, but genuine, solid professional expertise, paired with a personal code of conduct that upholds uncrossable moral bottom lines. Learn to leverage institutional rules and legal statutes to protect your own creative output and forge value through steady, down-to-earth labor. Only then can you firmly grasp control over your own future and secure lifelong self-assurance and confidence.